June 19, 1906. A boy is born in Germany. His name, Walter Rauff. He would grow into a man who helped industrialize mass murder by inventing mobile gas vans that suffocated victims in sealed chambers on wheels. They called it efficiency, and yet he was never tried, never imprisoned. Fast forward to 1973, Chile. A military coup ignites a dictatorship under General Augusto Pinochet, and deep in the shadows of this new regime, Walter Rauff resurfaces, not hiding, but helping. The same man who once built Germany's silent killing machines was now designing Chile's secret police. This isn't a tale of exile, it's a blueprint transfer. From the ashes of Nazi genocide to the tortured basements of South America, and the world said nothing. Long before Auschwitz became a symbol, Walter Rauff had already found a quieter method of murder. Not gas chambers, gas vans, trucks, modified to pump carbon monoxide directly into sealed compartments filled with human beings, men, women, children. Victims were told they were being relocated. Instead, they were driven to mass graves, already dead by the time they arrived. Rauff's genius wasn't technical, it was logistical. He made killing mobile. Estimates place the death toll from these vans at over 100,000. And still, after the war, this man walked free because the Nazi regime collapsed. But the systems just waited for their next customer. In 1945, Allied forces arrest Rauff in Milan. But before justice can catch its breath, he's gone. He slips through prison gates like a shadow, sheltered by a network of Catholic monasteries sympathetic to the Nazi cause. He moves between safe houses. Priests forge papers. Red Cross documents become new identities. Then Syria, then Ecuador. Each passport more convincing than the last. In Quito, he's just another European expat, a businessman, a family man. But beneath the suit, the same mind that engineered death vans remains active. Rauff isn't hiding. He's preparing. Because in a few short years, another authoritarian regime will come knocking, and he'll answer. 1958, Walter Rauff arrives in Chile, not smuggled, not hunted. He enters as a legal resident, working for a German export firm. The past is scrubbed clean. The paperwork is perfect, but someone knows. West Germany's newly formed intelligence agency, the BND, quietly recruits him. They pay him in Deutschmarks. They ask for information. He gives it. He becomes a node in the post-war intelligence web, where Nazi skill meets Cold War paranoia. For years, he stays in the shadows, watching Chile evolve. Then, in 1973, everything changes. The military rises, democracy collapses, and Rauff finally steps forward, not as a refugee, but as an architect of what's to come. August 1973. Chile falls under military control. General Augusto Pinochet becomes dictator, and behind the military uniforms and state speeches, a new organization is forming. It's called DINA, the Directorate of National Intelligence. Their mission? To crush opposition, to silence, to disappear. And in the backroom meetings, drafting the blueprint, sits Walter Rauff, the same man who once built Nazi Germany's mobile death units, now advising a new regime on how to control, interrogate, eliminate. He's not a relic. He's a strategist. Pinochet didn't discover Rauff. He activated him. And together, they would reshape Chile into a machine of fear. They called it Villa Grimaldi. But it wasn't a villa, it was a black site. Inside, prisoners screamed, beaten, shocked, broken, and above it all, intelligence flowed like electricity. Names, locations, resistance maps. Walter Rauff wasn't seen in those torture rooms. He didn't need to be. He was the architect, advising from the shadows, designing systems, structuring intelligence flows, teaching Chile's secret police the cold efficiency of Nazi logistics, updated for the Cold War. Disappearances weren't random. They were procedural. Surveillance wasn't chaotic. It was organized. And death was no longer a side effect. It was the plan. 1962. Germany demands extradition. Chile refuses. They say the statute of limitations has expired. Later, Israel's Mossad reportedly marks him for assassination. Still, he walks free. Rauff lives comfortably in Santiago. He attends church, shops in peace. He even sues for defamation when called a Nazi in public. In 1984, he dies in his bed. No trial, no conviction. And at his funeral, former Nazi officials pay their respects. It wasn't justice delayed, it was justice deleted. Because some men don't escape punishment, they simply outlive it, while the world looks away. Today, on the same streets where tanks once rolled, Chilean students march with signs that say, "Nunca más," never again. But the ghosts still linger, in courtrooms, in files, in family photo albums with missing faces. Walter Rauff's name rarely appears in textbooks, but his systems, they remain studied, echoed, even refined. Surveillance states, secret detentions, cold efficiency and warm governments. He may be dead, but the manual he wrote lives on. Philippe Sands once called him a ghost who touched two regimes. But maybe it's worse than that. Maybe he proved that you don't need to hide a monster. You just need to give him a desk job.